So let us see who they were. Okay, so if you see, this was the sculpture which we got. Okay, now on this idol, okay, it is being inscripted that it is the idol of the King Kanishka. Okay, King Kanishka, that is a ruler from the second dynasty of the Kushan. Okay, now after this you can see the coins. Okay, see, these are the golden coins. Now for the first time it was happening in Indian subcontinent that we were using the golden coins for our trade relations. Now you can imagine the growth rate of India during that time, and that is why we would be seeing in the historical text that India was called as Sonakidiya. Okay, the Golden Sparrow. Okay, so this is the same period when we were at the peak of the growth during the King Kanishka. Okay, or during the Kushanas. Okay, now you can see again, see here the curly hairs. Okay, after the Indo-Greek invasion, you will see in each of the sculptures the same features, the Hellenistic features. Okay, the curly hairs, the folded clothes. Okay, bulgy eyes. Okay, so all these are the Hellenistic features. Okay, so this would be evident in our sculptures. Okay, now as I have said that the Kushana had the two dynasties, the Khadifices dynasty and the Kanishka dynasty. So the Khadifices had two kings, as I have told you. So Khadifices 1 and Khadifices 2. They were also known as the Kujula Khadifis and the Vima Khadifis. Okay, and the third is the Kanishka. Okay, so Kanishka would be following Buddhism, and in fact the Fourth Buddhist Council was being held during the King Kanishka only. Okay, so this Fourth Buddhist Council, okay, which was held in Kashmir. Okay, so of course the Kashmir was being used as a trading port also. Why? Because the Silk Route was above the Kashmir only. Okay, so here it was easy during the Fourth Buddhist Council to call all those foreign elements or the foreign regions for this Fourth Buddhist Council, and you will see that we are having a good connection with the present Russian region, okay, or the present Ukraine region, Central Asian region. Okay, and that is why you will see that in the Fourth Buddhist Council you will see the contribution of each of the country during this Kanishka period would be there. Okay, so during the Kanishka period, the Mathura was the main capital. Okay, the Mathura was the main capital, and Peshawar was the secondary capital. Okay, Peshawar was the secondary capital. After that, during the whole of this Kanishka empire, okay, during this whole Kushan period, okay, especially the Kushan period, okay, all the rulers were termed as Devaputra. They called themselves as a Devaputra. Now what is meant by Devaputra? Dev means God and Putra means son. So they were the sons of the god, that is Devaputra. Okay, so they were calling themselves as a Devaputra. After that, there is a Rajatarangini name of a text, okay, which talks about the Kushan rules and their benevolence towards the Buddhism. So this Rajatarangini is written by the Kalhana. Okay, now the Kalhana is also a contemporary or the court member of the Kushan Dynasty, especially the Kanishka Dynasty. Okay, so Kanishka times. Okay, so this Kalhana will write about how Kushanas were friendly with the Buddhism. Okay, how friendly they were with the Buddhism. Okay, and as they were friendly with the Buddhism, they would be also supporting the society, and they would be also supporting the common man. That is, a common man is given more opportunity, okay, for the economical upliftment, especially through the trade and connectivities. Okay, the employment generation would be high during the Kushanas. Okay, so these are some of the significances of the northwestern region, which was being invaded by n number of dynasties, n number of rulers. Okay, so after this, let's talk about the Kushan administration. Now see friends, when you study your ancient India, okay, try to first concentrate try to firstly concentrate upon major questions that UPSC concentrates upon. Okay, now in preliminary examination, you need to be very sure about the concepts and the terminologies, okay, which are presented in your NCERT. Okay, the Sanskrit words, the Pali Prakrit words, okay, those needs to be kept in your mind. Right now, previously I have talked about the Matsya Nyaya. Okay, in the previous sessions, especially when we were discussing about the Vedic times, okay, I have talked about Matsya Nyaya. Now, what is Matsya Nyaya? If you remember our discussion from the Vedic lecture, okay, Matsya Nyaya means, suppose this is a fish, okay, this is a fish, bigger fish, okay, and this is a smaller fish, okay. So, according to the Matsya Nyaya, bigger fish will eat the smaller fish. Okay, now this is a natural law. Okay, now according to the Matsya Nyaya, the same Nyaya which was studied in Arthashastra, which was studied in the Vedic literature also, would be applied here also while we are seeing the foreign invasions. Now here we see the political fragmentation on the Indian subcontinent, right? Now when an invader will see that these regions are divided politically into small units, so it's a good opportunity according to the Matsya Nyaya to conquer this region very properly. And the same was done by the Kushanas, especially during the Kanishka period. Okay, so here you will find that the Kushan administration would be quite wider, okay, and it would be quite structural in nature. Okay, so here you will find that during the Kushana period, okay, during the Kushana period, okay, let's suppose this is a one particular region or one particular city. Okay, this is one particular city. Now this particular division, okay, this particular division or the city is known as Satraps. Okay, and that is why in many of the text, when we were discussing about the Kushanas, when we were discussing about the Satvahanas, okay, I had a term called as a Western Satraps. Okay, so Satraps means a division. It might be city, it might be district, it might be at any form. Okay, so these are the Satraps. Okay, and the one who governs, okay, one who governs this satrap is Mahasatraps. Okay, he is called as a Mahasatraps. Okay, so in many of the text you will find the evidences of this Mahasatraps and Satraps. Okay, we call them, we term it especially as the Western Satraps. Why? Because they were located in the Western region. Okay, so this Satraps would be again divided into the different villages. Okay, and these villages are known as a Gramika. Okay, Gramika and Padrapala. Now Padrapala used to look for the governance. Okay, now this was the division, structural division of during the Kushan administration. Secondly, there was a dual hereditary. Okay, that means when one single king is ruling, there would be another concurrent king also ruling in the same region. That is, one single king won't be given the whole power. Now you can see how effectively they have managed their administration, not giving the whole power in the single hands. And that is why you will see the economical development would be at very high pace. Why? Because there was no centralization of the power. Instead, there was transparency. Okay. So after that, you will see in the military department, okay, there were Dandanayaks and Mahadandanayakas. Dandanayaks means the justice or justice making people. Okay, justice making people. Okay, that is High Court as a Dandanayak and Supreme Court as Mahadandanayak. Take it as like that. Okay, so Dandanayak at local level, Mahadandanayaka at the major level. Okay, after that the key officials. So here Bakanpati. So Bakanpati would look after the religious affairs. Okay, even if there are any issues, any challenges, even if you have to build any temple, or if you have to change the location of the temple or anything, Buddhist caves vagera, all these things. Okay, so this were looked upon by the Bakanpati. Okay, after that it is Danapati. Now what is Dan? Means lending. So the donations were looked up by the Danapati. After that the Padrapala. So the Padrapala used to look upon the uncultivated land, because if you see these people, the invaders, were majorly from the unirrigated land or the deserted land, like. Okay, so here when they will come in India, they would be finding that there are various opportunities for the irrigation. Okay, and that is why they will be concentrating upon the unirrigated land to develop these lands into more productive agriculture. Okay, so here you will find that the Padrapalas were also present at the village administration to look over the uncultivable or the uncultivated land. Okay.